Consider the following situation. One treatment results in $4,500 per pain-free day. Another treatment results in $7,000 per avoided epileptic seizure. A third in $50,000 per avoided hospitalization. Which treatment is most cost-effective? If we can transform the effect measures to a universal measure, such as life years gained, it will be possible to compare the treatments in terms of cost-effectiveness. But consider this man suffering from an illness. There is a drug which relieves his pain but does not prolong his life. From a cost-effectiveness perspective, the drugs do not appear to be good value for money. But what about the quality of life of this man? Should that not be taken into account when evaluating the cost-effectiveness of the drug? The QALY, Quality Adjusted Life Year, is calculated as number of life years multiplied with, that is adjusted by, the quality of life during these years. Quality of life is represented by utility, which is a number between 0 and 1. 1 corresponds to perfect health and 0 corresponds to death. Negative utilities, that is, a situation perceived as worse than death, are actually also possible.
Sofri você também. Chorei, mas não faz mal. Melhor que ter ninguém no coração.
This poor man will only live 2.5 more years if he doesn't get treatment. With treatment, he will live for another 3 years. The incremental health effect of the treatment is 3 minus 2.5 equals 0.5 life years gained. But the treatment does not only prolong his life, it also increases his quality of life. We add a new dimension to the health effect, quality of life, here represented by the utility on the y-axis. Let's assume that he would live 2.5 years at a utility of 0.5 without treatment. That will result in 1.25 QALYs. 2.5 life years times the utility 0.5 during these life years. With treatment, on the other hand, he will live the first 2 years at a utility of 0.8 and then a third year at a utility of 0.7. This would result in 2.3 QALYs. 2 life years times the utility of 0.8 plus 1 life year times a utility of 0.7. Notice that the difference between treatment and no treatment is greater when also quality of life is taken into account. The treatment would only result in 0.5 additional life years, but 1.25 additional QALYs.
Foi a vida, foi o amor quem quis. É melhor viver do que ser feliz. Foi tudo natural.
Utilities represent quality of life. But how are utilities estimated? One way is to use the visual analog scale. Using this scale, the individual indicates his health condition as he experiences it on a scale ranging from 0 to 100. 0 represents worst imaginable condition and 100 best imaginable condition. The utilities then derived from this indication. For example, if an individual indicates his health condition at 60 on the visual analog scale, the utility of his health condition is estimated to 0.6. An advantage with this method is that it is so easy to perform. A disadvantage is that this method has nothing to do with choices or preferences. Another way is to use time trade-off. With this method, the individual whose health condition is of interest is subjected to a game where he has to choose between, for example, 10 years in the present health condition or a certain number of years in full health. The fewer years in full health the individual would prefer to the present health condition, the lower the utility of the health condition. For example, if the individual would prefer 1 year of full health to 10 years in his present health condition, the utility of health condition is estimated to 0.1. Would the individual instead answer 2 years, the utility of his health condition would be 0.2. Would the individual answer 10 years, it means that he is indifferent between living 10 years in the present health condition and 10 years of full health. That is, he experiences his health condition to be equal to full health, which gives a utility of 1. A third way is to use standard gamble. This method subjects the individual to a game where he has to choose between living 10 years in the current health condition or 10 years with perfect health, but with a certain risk of immediate death. The higher the risk of immediate death the individual is ready to take, the lower the utility of his present health condition. If the individual chooses 10 years of full health with a risk of immediate death of 0.1, the utility of the present health condition is estimated to 0.9. But if he is ready to accept a higher risk, for example 0.2, the utility of his current health condition is lowered to 0.8. If he is ready to accept a risk of 1, that is certainty of immediate death, his present health condition is equal to death, that is, a utility of 0. Advantages with the standard gamble method is just as with the time trade-off method that the individual is subjected to a situation where he has to make an actual choice. The main disadvantage with these methods is that these are hypothetical situations of which the individuals have no experience and therefore are probably hard to imagine. An indirect way to estimate utilities is to use the EQ5D. This questionnaire consists of 5 dimensions: mobility, self-care, usual activities, pain, discomfort, and anxiety, depression. Within each dimension, the participant ticks the box that best describes his health today. Under mobility, for example, the participant chooses one of the following descriptions. I have no problems in walking about. I have slight problems in walking about. I have moderate problems in walking about. I have severe problems in walking about. Or I am unable to walk about. The individual describes his health condition, but then the preference for this health condition is valued by other individuals who do not have the condition. Preference weights from these individuals are used to calculate the utility.